Alyssa Valentine, and I'm a biology and environmental science teacher. I love connecting topics discussed in class to personal experiences and current work being done by scientists in the field. My AP Environmental Science class has been talking about apex predators and keystone species, and I decided to extend my lesson by using the video from National Geographic about the wolf reintroduction to Yellowstone and the impact that had to the whole ecosystem. I then connected that to work being done to create the American Prairie Reserve.
So we're talking about predators, we're talking about their effects on the ecosystem, so what is a keystone species?
A species that plays a role in its community that is far more important than its relative importance.
Okay, what does that mean?
As a class, we watched the National Geographic Wolves of Yellowstone video, which described the reintroduction of wolves to the park and all the impacts this had to other species, the environment, and humans. Whenever I can, I like to tell personal stories to connect the students to the material. In this case, I shared my own pictures from a visit to Yellowstone and told stories about my experiences there.
Suddenly this lady on the other side of the parking lot goes, "Bear! Bear!" And this bear climbed up over the guardrail and just walked through the parking lot.
Next, the students worked in groups to create concept maps based on the video. They described the impacts wolf reintroduction had on all aspects of the environment.
Do they have like protection?
Yeah, there's more habitat. Okay, let's go. And that also supports more bison.
Go right out.
The students then presented these posters to the class and we discussed all the impacts.
So this helped the fish because they had more places like to hide from predators and stuff because of the dams.
Reading about the National Geographic explorers led me to Sean Garrity and his work with the American Prairie Reserve. I was able to connect our discussion of apex predators to his work of trying to restore the prairie ecosystem and create the American Prairie Reserve. The students watched the video introduction about the reserve, which highlighted their work to establish a working ecosystem with more biodiversity and the impacts this will have on the whole ecosystem and the people in the area. They then explored the website, reading about at-risk animals and the actions being taken to try to protect and conserve them, as well as community impacts. In groups, the students made a list of impacts restoring the prairie will have on the ecosystem and the people. We discussed what would happen if apex predators were added as well.
Can we talk about stakeholders then? Who are stakeholders in this decision?
Ranchers, environmental scientists.
For the next part of this lesson, we made a list as a class of all the groups of stakeholders this project will impact. Finally, the students chose a group of stakeholders and wrote a letter highlighting the benefits of the reserve, urging that group to support the conservation efforts. This lesson connected humans to the natural world by exploring the impact humans have on ecosystems and the conservation efforts to increase biodiversity in the prairie. The scale included in this lesson is regional, and the perspectives included are ecological, cultural, and economic. The lesson included the attitude of empowerment through students writing their own letters, the skill of collaboration, and the knowledge area of wildlife and wild places. The class and I really enjoyed this lesson. Students felt empowered and interested in conservation and environmental activism work. They saw how they personally could make an impact and expressed interest in exploring more examples of current environmental work.
I hope that by connecting real experiences to textbook material, I can make my class more engaging for students and empower them to become change makers because they are the conservationists of the future.